All right, Virgo, this is your love reading for the month of May. I'm going to be using the One World Tarot deck as the main spread, and then my Grimalkin deck and the Enchanted Lenormand Oracle deck for clarifiers. The love readings may be a little bit more specific, so just take what resonates with you and leave the rest for someone else. Okay, Virgo, this is exciting. You got the lovers and a unity or sort of a marriage card from the Lenormand deck in a love reading. So, very exciting. Um, there's a couple themes here, so I'm going to go through it. And this, again, I think there's a couple people who can relate to this. So, maybe a couple different situations here. Um, for some of you, you are in a partnership with a wonderful, very reliable partner. That's what the Six of Pentacles represents, sort of the ideal partnership, which is very beautiful. Um, if this is you, I would say you're in a great place right now. You can sort of hear what I believe is going on for some other Virgos who may actually be sort of dating right now. Um, so keep that in mind. The other possibility here is that some of you have met someone, and depending on how you play the situation, you could end up in this ideal situation, this ideal partnership. So keep that in mind. Um, the Hermit came up in a love reading, which is always interesting because we have the lovers. If I didn't see the lovers here, I would say this is actually a great time for you not to date. This is a great time to be alone. So some of you might feel that way. The Hermit can represent that. Also, interestingly, in the tarot, we always have to kind of look at the card itself. And in this case, it's an older masculine energy. So some of you may be dating an older masculine person. Um, so keep that in mind. There's also Queen of Wands, which is almost the opposite of the Hermit. This is a feminine energy who's very confident, very cheerful, and also very independent. Um, Depending on your situation, this could be sort of the partnership that we're looking at right here. One of the which I've seen those type of relationships really work out. So nothing against that. Um, the reason I almost see these as a possible partnership that we're talking about here is a couple cards. Page of Swords warns against being too intellectual. So, one person in this partnership might be a little bit too cerebral, may have difficulty communicating their feelings. Maybe they're not great at talking on the phone. I've definitely dated people like that. Um, and what that can mean is that if, for example, you're the one that is the more outgoing person in the partnership, you might need to learn how to communicate with this person. A of Pentacles is all about learning. So that's why I bring that up. It's almost like there could be a need because the two of you are so different. There's a need to learn about each other. And the Hermit can also represent sort of slowing down. So you may need to kind of slow down the dating process or the partnership to really get to know each other, not just as romantic partners, but as like friends or as human beings and how you communicate. Uh, this was the other card that sort of indicated that. In the Lenormand deck, this can represent someone being a little bit needy. And I really don't like that word needy, um, because I feel like that can come across as maybe negative towards communicating emotions. And I think it is really important to communicate your emotions. Of course, you don't want to be unrealistic in what you ask of your partner. But looking at these cards together, this could be some of your situations is you're in a partnership where you're very different in terms one's an extrovert, one's an introvert, and the extrovert might be feeling like they're needy right now. Maybe because they're asking their partner to call them on the phone once a day or something. And this very cerebral person um, has a lot of difficulty with that. So I'm not a couples counselor or anything like that, but just something to think about is that there are different ways to communicate. And if you want to reach, this does have potential for long term unity with this card and the lovers. The lovers also represents choice. So you may be trying to decide, is it worth it? This will take maybe more work than you'd like to put in terms of a partnership. So keep that in mind. Um, for those of you that think this person is worth putting in the work, whether you're the one who's kind of the hermit energy or you're the one who's more of an extrovert, this Eight of Pentacles tells me you can learn about each other and how to communicate. And there is this really bright and optimistic Six of Pentacles here, which in a love reading is great. So keep that in mind. Lots of options. I think you can make that decision. You have your free will, how you want to handle the situation. And again, this, of course, will not apply to everyone, but I am super curious if it does apply to you. So please leave a comment if you can relate to this. But yes, thank you, Virgo. Super interesting reading.